You know what? If I did not look over to my monitor screen and notice that I wasn't online, I would be like, holy cow, I would have wasted another 30 minutes just talking into the mic with no effect, nothing coming out from my side. So let's go back to the top here. Today's aim really is to set up my newly acquired webcam from Black Friday deals. I got it 67% off, so I would think it is a pretty good deal and as a pretty good replacement for my DSLR on Camlink. Not Camlink that people know of a big brand. Today's stream is never about like sponsorship or anything. I just want to spitball in my own mind, try to share what is going on in my thought process as I try to find that sweet spot to set up this camera because I'm a stickler of details. The intention of changing it over to a webcam is to test out if modern webcam actually does what they claim to do. And also, the other thing is my DSLR on Camlink tend to overheat on longer sessions. I don't want that. I still want my DSLR to take nice photo with, so that I can deal with the learning of photoshopping or color correction for photos and videos. So I don't want to burn out my DSLR, you know? Now, onto the main thing here. If you want to have good sense of what is going on the camera, this camera right now, this video camera right now is using this afternoon setting, so it is definitely not going to cut it, right? Now we are dealing with an evening kind of streaming session, which is the majority of time I'm going to use it. Welcome, guys. 6 people in the view already. Holy cow. Thank you for the attention here, but I'm just gonna spitball about what I'm gonna do, trying to set up the camera. I have I forgot to restate what I had on right now. I've got a 3M strip in the background, outputting Twitch purple in the very low key intensity. I don't want the color to bounce back off the back wall and to eliminate my eyes and alter my decision. Technically speaking, I should even turn off the headlight, not headlight, the key light that is shining on my face, which is extremely bright right now. I should have turned it off because all the straight light that bounce off from every sources and even my really scratch out glasses is going to affect my viewing or detection of the color. But first thing is, if you got some good monitors going on and if you want to be as correct as possible in terms of detecting color for your color correction work or video content making purposes, you might want to calibrate your monitor. So here comes this link here. This is the website that I tend to use maybe 8 years ago when I was making content for YouTube. I was partnered with N4GTV until I got hacked. But anyways, that was a story for another day. When I was making these videos for YouTube, I would sometimes regularly, if there is a driver update, I would come back here to check how my monitor looks. So these are the intensity of the colors, even for the white colors, the grayscales. And this website is pretty good because it tells you what it should look like. It's a smooth thing going on rather than serious grading of certain color, bias more grading towards certain parts of darkness or darker color. And certainly you should not be seeing certain color bands are longer or crushed to the darkness way sooner than the others. But anyways, this website does a very good job in terms of telling what your images should look like and should not look like. I would go for the contrast. I would not spend too much time on the color and phase because it looks horrible, because I can see some hysterisis going on my screen right now. It's just getting really old, is 8 years old. And such hysteresis is being picked up, possibly being picked up by my monitoring software and capturing software. Sharpness, funny thing, this is where I realized that I wasn't even on live. I was so eager to get this stream over because I have a big piece of cheesecake sitting in the freezer, just telling me, come on, get it, eat me. But anyways, let's look back on the contrast here, the sharpness. You want to squint your eyes so that it is not showing any like significant things of the grading of the gray and white color. And then you want to check up on your gamma setting for the RGB channels. Depends on whatever display card you use. So it should be sitting on the 2.2 line. I feel like right now my green on the 48% and the red is a little bit shifted to the 2.0, but my eyes may be not so good. Maybe the 10% is pretty spot on and 25% is spot on, but definitely there's some work that to be done to be the 48. Anyways, other things, some of them are more relevant to you, some of them are more relevant to others, but read through the instruction, pick the one that you want to focus on, try to tune your monitor setting, contrast, sharpness, brightness, whatever, so that it does not have the no situations. I don't see any grading on my main character at least, so I'm actually pretty happy. What do they want here? Inversion, pixel walk, I can't see any, maybe there is, but response time, don't spend too much time on it, and the rest of that is just not very important. So go for contrast, go for gamma calibration, at least check your black level. I see black level pretty good for me. So before I realized I wasn't even streaming, maybe 10 minutes ago, is you can go for gamma correction. I just pretend I want to do this, right? Currently, for the NVIDIA panel is all locked to the 1 here, but you can unlock them and do it individually. Tweak them until you see the recommendation of 2.2 resting on here. So you should not even see any distinction of the color red, green, blue, or even the white around this mark here, 2.2. It's gonna take you some time to get it right, but I'm not going to show you how I'm going to do it because it's just a waste of time. Anyways, let's go and set up the camera in terms of setting the camera or having a better setting here. You may think it is all BS. It will be, it might well be, but this is what I would do, so I'm just sharing this thinking to you. Anyways, I'm going to my video capture, which is representing my webcam, and I'm going to... Oh, I haven't shown you this, right? I forgot. Let's move it here. Wow, this is disorienting. Right, we got video capture going on. I'm going to click on... double click it actually, and you see my schmucks. We should go for configuring video. No matter what gaming webcam you have, chances are the setting is not going to be transferable or be recognizable by OBS or Streamlab that you are going to use. So you might get this webcam or some other webcam that is claimed to be capable of streaming in low condition or whatever. Remember, I don't have any sponsorship or anything. This is not a slander of any brands. I just feel like that the manufacturer don't know jack about the needs of streamer anyways. If they really care about it, they should be able to make these sliders, their settings as presets into OBS. Or they would have their own branding of filters being made into OBS as their own brand of filter. But anyways, I'm not going to bitch too much here. I already think I have got a sweet location in terms of zoom and focus. I can, well, this camera I have here can have a bit of focus tweaking here. So I'm going to just do it at 256, maybe for this distance. If you're very, very pedantic and picky, just do it every stream or every other stream, but I'm sure that you will find your sweet spot in terms of sitting and this good location in front of the screen and the camera. So there's no need to religiously do them too much. I'm going for funny thing, I'm going to desaturate it so that I have black and white here. I believe in previous learning of doing video corrections, feels like to me human eyes are more sensitive to black and white, the light level, more so than the colors. So you can see that how annoying it is already, right? I have this interface right in front of me and the light is going to light me up with a bias. So I will do something like, I'm going to tweak the contrast and possibly brightness, and then I'm going to show you the progress as I go along by swapping it in and swapping it out. I just don't want the bright color of this interface to affect my feeling of how I see myself as, okay? So, Nox, right? Manufacturer or even OBS designer, this interface has to be dark. Otherwise, it's gonna affect people's perception of the color, and our like irises are always adapting this. It's gonna fuck up our perception. Right. I am looking for the Bayonetta memorabilia right now. I want to see some details in it, so my aim here is to try to see as much smaller, darker detail, because we are streaming in low light condition. So it seems that if I tweak the brightness all the way up, of course, naturally is just going to saturate it with color, right? Maybe you want that, but I don't think it is gonna look like good anywhere good if I put the color back in. Look at this, right? There's another thing about white balance, so I'm gonna sidetrack a little bit. Currently, my key light has been set to a sunlight-esque color, which is 3250. Look at that shit. I don't even know if the white balance is going to do well in this situation. Certainly, in either extreme is going to mess me up, right? So I'm going to stick to the 3250 or 3240 or whatever. I can't be asked with this insensitive slide bar anyway. So I'm going to desaturate it all black back to black and white. Maybe, realistically speaking, there's no chance in hell to see that detail in the very dark object in the background, and there's no need to see that, right? Because you want to show your face, right? If you're very particular to that. So let's focus on the foreground where the focus is. Just find a very, very comfortable location in terms of brightness. We will come back to it and change it anyways, but I'm going to move this interface here just so that I'm not affected by the brightness coming from the interface. If you want to be moody and like be a little bit darker, just do it to your heart's content and play around with the contrast as well. Usually, I find if you have too much contrast, your details are going to be all crushed, no matter if this is dark or bright. Look at this, right? So if you got like some products on you, maybe it is a fluorescent thing that is going to be on the camera, be picked up on the camera. I'm not like one of those light streamer would be putting like mineral powders to just hide the brightness or the sheen here. I don't really care at my age, so I'm just gonna be trying to be natural in certain sense. Right, I find this right now is pretty okay, is soft enough, it is not crushing too much detail. And notice that, right, I even use a black color shirt so that I'm not bouncing color back and forth and affecting my decision making. Right, sharpness, I haven't played around with it for a bit, but let's see. Okay, it is adding extra details, but in low light condition. And especially when you are dealing with LED lights, I fear that you may have a lot of straight light, and this calculation is going to add too much detail that you don't want. So I wouldn't even want to add too much detail. I would just turn it down all the way. I'm a little bit weirded out by the focus here, so I'm gonna tweak it a little bit more. In terms of doing the contrast and brightness, it affects your decision making as well, so you may have to be on the lookout for changing the setting as you go on. Right, I decided not to add any sharpness. I'm thinking about it later. My key light is 3250 as recommended by many people for indoor lighting. Oh, thank you for the congrats, man. Panda, sorry, sometimes when I'm so concentrated on doing certain things, and especially now my main monitor is responsible of the studio not studio, the monitoring of what's going on in the chat here. I focused so much on the left hand side, sorry about that. I focus so much on the left hand side and tend to miss out on the chat. But thank you for coming in here, Panda, much appreciated. It is your lunch break again, right? Thank you for coming into the chat to listen to me gobshite once again. I hope that it is not putting you off in terms of having lunch. But anyways, thank you for coming in, Aras23. Thank you for being here. Even though this is not gameplay, it is just me spewing my thinking out in the open sea. Right, where was I? I don't want sharpness, I forgo the saturation, I want to see a little bit more detail. Now somehow, it's a little bit more noisy. No matter how hard you try to eliminate these noise and whatever, the quality of your building, the quality of the power line is going to affect it. And even the amount of cabling you have going on in the background is going to affect it. So be able to accept a little bit that you can't really control. If you try to focus too much on, there must be some electromagnetic noise that is going to mess up the details, there's no end to it. Right, so I'm going to stick to the white balance because I know my key light is 3250. Right, brightness compensation. This is weird. This is gonna be so weird. I don't even know if this setting is actually gonna be affecting the so-called compensation anyway. So let's try it. Do it. Boop. Is either 1 or 0. Okay, on this camera is either 1 or 0. So I'm going to keep it on 0. Now, interesting thing when people are thinking about, oh, this is gain, sorry, my bad. I thought it was gamma. If there is gamma, I would talk something about gamma. If your camera or slider in your OBS or Streamlabs version has gamma on, what it means is it is going to boost your very low light signals, just focusing on boosting that low light signal rather than as a linear addition by brightness is a once and for all overall addition here. So I'm not even going to do any gains here. It is to me that does not really matter right now. The pan and tilt is really self-explanatory. I don't even want to mess with exposure because whenever I do it, it is going to mess up my signal for this particular camera. So, right, now time to with color vision here. Once again, Pander, if I did not say thank you for the congrats, I am here to say it again. I don't mind. Sometimes I just miss things. Right, here we go. Now we shall have light for my so-called projector here, the color projector. I'm not even going to say what brand it is because this stream is never gonna be a commercial thing. Right, look at that, right? How does it happen? It happens because there are minerals in the plaster. And those minerals being minerals, they have regular structure, so they tend to fluoresce. It might fluoresce because of the red light exciting those minerals. It might be the key light fluorescing it. Sometimes you have no control when you have lighting like this. And if you try to have a white wall to project. So if you are really careful about things not fluorescing, then I suggest you may have to find a white screen that has material that has no fluorescent materials. But I'm not that picky per se, so I'm just going to bite the bullets and get the saturation back on. Holy cow, look at this. It's overly bright, isn't it? That is a no-no sign about the fluorescence. From me, it's very, very casual, wavy kind of red color that I see in real life, but this is overly saturating the background. So I like the red light really, not because I like going to red light district, but red is my favorite color in my adulthood right now, at least in the recent few years. So I'm going to turn it the F down. And this is closer to what it is right now. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. I got a filter going on. Shoot. Right, let's go back to square one. We got something good going on already, so I'm going to delete this. Well, lucky enough that the filter did not change the color that much. Right, let's focus back on the video here. Right, I'm at a comfortable hue. The camera obviously pick up, well, on my side in comparison to the monitor here. it did pick up way more color and brightness than I personally see on the screen right now. Not the screen, on the wall right now. I try to have the saturation as high as possible, and even that would have some color distortion, but I don't mind because I have, as I said early on in the stream, I've got a 3M strip that is projecting purple, and cameras very likely is picking up the purple that bounced off the back wall as well as bouncing off from my right hand side onto the back wall there. Now I can see a lump of black things. I can make out some distance details there. I'm happy enough. I can see my face. I have some human looking light colors, so I'm happy enough anyways. And there are some hues. There are some shadows behind me I can't control. I don't have 3-point lighting, so that is about it. I will always have a shadow because of the screen anyways, so don't worry too much about it. If you end up being a very picky about the colors and color correction and how you look on screen, then you want to look into 3-point lighting. You want to have a larger key light, but the drawback of having a larger key light is going to shine on your forehead, is going to overheat yourself, and then you'll be oiling over and over, and then you have to find other solutions. So when you start out, don't go crazy in terms of like getting these so-called professional gear. I suspect it will rack up quite a bit of electricity bill as well. Alright, let's move on. I feel like I'm actually pretty happy about what the camera has picked up so far, even though I don't see jack on my wall. I see some color. I am going to try to push up the saturation a little bit more, and trying to tweak around to see, oh, what if I go down a little bit, go up a little bit. Right, I'll show you right now. This is where I am just about to accept it is gonna be good enough saturation. This is possibly too much, right? And this is where it is going to be a little bit too thin. That was 180 something, let's call it 188 and 138. Where's the midpoint, right? The midpoint is 50 points. And, well, the difference is 50, so I'm going to add 25 here, so this is 163. That is pretty okay, right? So I am erring on the more saturated side. So 163 to 188, let's call it, the difference is 25. So the difference is roughly 13. The halfway distance is 13. The idea is I want to push as saturated as possible, right? So I am just like doing, okay, this is the original distance. I want to be more saturated, so I am going for this on your screen, right? And then I'm going to go for that. I'm hunting for that differentiation sweet spot here. So what was I thinking? 163, 188, I need to add 13, so it is 176. Yeah, I think it does not really matter right now if it is 188 or 176, so I'm just going to set as 175 just to have a bit more color because I like colors. There's nothing else I can do on the natural driver side of settings, so I'm just gonna click apply to apply the setting right now and click OK. Just get rid of this interface. Then the next stage is just going for color correction. Be careful, this one is not a professional suggestion of what you need to do, okay? This is just my preference of what I want to do when I want to set up a new camera. Alright. Because it is low light, it is bound to pick up some noise here. The camera is just trying hard to find every little bit of information, and I'm just telling it to go for a lot of saturation. Remember, things bounce off colors, okay? Every surface bounces off color. So if your setup is like a lot of bouncing back and forth, even with your fabric, even with your head, even with your skin, even with your glasses, with your screen, it's going to add a lot of complication. Right. I practically don't see anything on my wall right now, but I like this color. I want it to be more red, right? So, oh, one thing you can do is with gamma. Gamma actually affect your low light information more. So if you want to have less shadow, let's say, you can tweak the gamma to make you look like a little bit brighter. Depends on, really. Now I've overdone it, right? I start to see this white speckles on my face. So I might even keep it on a slightly negative for here. And then contrast, you can do another contrast here. You already have contrast set up in the USB side of thing, the driver side of thing. Now you can deal with this, you can add contrast, you can do a little bit less, don't really care. Brightness, remember it is a one-size-fit-all addition, it's a linear addition of light information. So now I have too much, I wash out. Too little, I look crushed. So you go for the sweet spot yourself. I don't want to waste your time just to find that sweet spot. Right, saturation, once again, it is sitting on 0. You can keep adding. You can counter what you just did onto via the driver level, but I find it okay right now, so I'm just gonna keep it 0. Sometimes, especially in my older DSLR cameras, it seems that it is not picking up red as well. It always cannot pick up the red, but I'm glad that this camera here actually picked up minimal amount of light information. It's almost imperceptible for me right now on my wall, but the camera picks up quite nicely. So if you want to shift your hues, you can. If you want to make it more blue, you can. More red, whatever. If you even want to add some weird effect for certain seasons, greetings, you can. But I am not going to do some cray-cray here. I'm just going to go back to a more natural color. Actually, I'm pretty happy with my original value, so I'm going to stick as 0. You can experiment in terms of color if you want to specifically add certain color to your screen, but not much else to do really. Opacity is just about your alpha channel, I think. Alpha is just how much information it comes through. I'm just going to keep it at 100% coming through here. That's pretty much it. In terms of comparison to my DSLR, I'm glad that it actually picks up red a little bit better. I feel like it is even more sensitive than my DSLR, so this claim that Sony chip for low light condition shooting, indoor shooting, is actually working its thing. There are certain limitations of what you can do, what you cannot do, and they are always limited by how your room is set up and other light sources, but for me, it is okay. I suspect it is going to look horrible in other colors. Let me show you some other colors for this projector. This stream is actually coming to an end soon enough anyways. So I'm going to try on other colors for just my own benefit, to know what kind of color is going to be good, what kind of color is meh. Right, so I'm going for, let's say, my previous favorite color, purple. Holy cow, this is so bright. This is on my screen here, my setting, the theme is a rotating color of a blend of mainly blue, very low red, and a stash of green. This is making this room like really crazy, isn't it? This one is called Prime Test. I was testing out the prime color and was priming on blue, equally horrible. And then I call it benthic because I want it to be the ocean green, deep kind of green. Is it switching over? Oh my god, it's equally horrible. So I will have to do some hue shift to make it look nice. I'm just going to try it out, okay? Not really. I don't think just doing the hue is going to do that much. So there are colors that are picked up more by your certain brand of camera. There are other color that is a little bit nicer. My theory is the red is gonna be less sensitive to human eye. So any tweaks on your green channel is going to be more jarring to viewers and even to yourself. So I wouldn't recommend to have too much green or blue lighting in your room setup. I have a personal bias for red, so there you go. Maybe I'm just like voting my vote of trust for red colors, but you have to experience it yourself. Different brands of camera does different thing. You just have to be kind of sensible in terms of setting up the color. and what is sensible I can't guarantee, or I can't dictate what it is. But anyways, that is my short stream for the day. It's meant to be a little stream. I do it to share my own way of doing it, so other streamers can kind of refer to. But it is also for the side benefit that I now have a setup for a red room. Anyways, I am going to go back to the normal get-go. And then I'm going to lock things down, really. But yeah, so now you can see that when the camera is actually a little bit smaller, the floors are less jarring, and you will be more at ease about your setting. But don't be fearful to experiment things. This is what I'm trying to say. Anyways, I'm going to shut down this even because the bright light is hurting me ass. Right, so that's pretty much it. I don't think I've got the spirit or the physical capability to stream for another session this evening. So check out the afternoon stream. Thank you very much for being here, though, Arrows, for early on stream, and thank you very much for Pander for showing the support and coming in at his lunchtime. Yeah, thank you. I'm sure that I'll have a good night. I am going to have that cheesecake now, just as a little reward for myself. I've been eyeing that little bitch for a long time, so she is gonna come into my belly. Right, I hope that all you guys are having a good day so far, and be safe, be cheerful, be happy wherever you are. So, see you guys later.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Hey y'all, my new EP, A Joyful Holiday, is out now. Listen on Spotify.
Snipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir.